In this video, I want to show you how you can turn your WeWeb web application into a real native Android application in just a few steps, and we're going to submit it to the Google Play Store. So let's get right started with that. First of all, we have our WeWeb project all set up. You can use a new project or an existing project. And then you want to make sure that you go in your WeWeb project on Assets, you go on Marketplace, and in the Marketplace, you're going to look for Despia. You will add the Despia plugin if you haven't already, and then it will reload the editor to save everything, and there you go. Now, on the page where you want to implement native functionalities, you're just going to add the Despia plugin component as the first element of the page. So in this example, we're going to go to Add, we're going to go to Assets, and we're going to drag the Despia native element on top of the page. Now, inside of this page, we can go back to basic elements, and for example, we can look for a button, move it under here, and then this button now has access to real native functionalities. Let's say we want to add some push notification capability inside of here. We can now go on click, and I can do execute component action. I will select the Despia plugin component, and now let's do a schedule local push notification. I will schedule it for 10 seconds. The title will be WeWeb, and then the message will be, "This is cool." Look at that. And that's how simple we can add native functionalities inside of your WeWeb Android application directly in the WeWeb editor. You can set up all those native workflows that use real native device functionalities without having to leave the WeWeb editor. So now we're using real native system APIs. Let's close this. Now that we have our application all set up inside of WeWeb, we can just click on deploy and publish it now. And now we're going to take the domain. This could be your custom domain, your WeWeb domain, and we're going to set this up with Despia as a new project. And then we're going to submit it to the store. It's super simple. So now it's building the project in WeWeb, and we can click on this link. I'm just going to copy the link for my application. Also, the nice thing is Despia gives us updates over the air, meaning you don't have to move your hosting away from WeWeb. It works with WeWeb-hosted applications and self-hosted applications. It doesn't matter where you host your WeWeb application. On Cloudflare, AWS, Vercel, or WeWeb, you don't have to move your hosting just because you're using Despia. You can stay where it is. But now let's go to Despia.com, and we can now get started, create our account, and create our project here. So I'm just going to create a new project, and I'm going to call this My WeWeb Android. And I'm just going to paste my web app start URL. That's the start URL, the domain, the link to your application that you build inside of WeWeb. And then it generates a bundle ID for you, but you can change it or import an existing one. So you can change it, remove the Despia branding, add your own name inside of there or whatever. But in this example, I'm just taking the suggested one. And I'm now going to create a new application inside of Despia. So now what it will do is it will create a whole new application project, and I have the URL linked inside of here. So now what we need to do is we now need to upload our iOS icon and our Android icon. We need to upload an iOS icon even for the Android application. Why? Because some applications in Android use iOS style launchers, so you still need to have an iOS icon even if you're building the Android application. So let's make a little cut. Let me just design a simple icon, and then we'll upload that. So now I have designed some icons in Canva. So I have the iOS icon inside of here. I have the splash screen GIF inside of here with a little animation on it, because you can animate that splash screen GIF file. Now, important, when you get the GIF, make sure that your GIF file has transparent background, and always make sure that your icon, the iOS icon and the Android icon, never ever have transparent background. If you upload it with transparent background, your application build will fail. So never do that. They cannot have transparent background.
But for the splash screen, the animation that will be for the start screen of the page, it needs to have transparent background. So keep that in mind. Also, all of those icons and the splash screen, they should all be exactly 1024 by 1024, or the Play Store will not accept your application. The build will fail and you will lose your credit. So make sure that you set the images up correctly. 99% of the times when the error is in the build process and the build fails, it's a wrong icon dimension. So you got to get this step 100% right. So there you go. I now have them. And also one thing to consider for Android, the icon needs to have a lot of safe area because Android zooms in on the icon. I cannot explain you why they do that, but that's what they do. So now I have all those icons saved. So let's close this here and let's go back into our application. Now what we're going to do is we're going to upload the icon here, and we are going to upload our iOS icon. So let's take that PNG, and we're done. And now I'm going to upload my Android icon, and I'm going to upload that, and we are done. Beautiful. You see how it zooms in, and you will see the preview inside of here. Let's go on done. And now on splash screen layout, we're going to upload our splash screen icon with transparent background. And in this example, I do have it animated. Look at that. It's a nice animation. We can make it a little bit bigger. We can customize it if we want. And there you go. That's our splash screen icon. Now, one thing that I always suggest when you set this up is that you go to the status bar settings, and you're going to enable full screen mode. Now, here's the thing to note. When you enable full screen mode, it will use the full screen of the page, and you will be able to then insert native safe area using our WeWeb plugin, and we have detailed documentation on how to do that. Now, what you want to consider, though, is when your splash screen is white and you don't have light and dark mode set up in WeWeb, you want to have the light mode color, the light mode background color for the status bar, exactly the same color like your splash screen. So my splash screen is white. So in this example, when I go in here to the background color for the status bar, and light mode is white, dark mode should also be white, because in this example, my application doesn't have light and dark mode. And then both of those text colors for the status bar should also be black. So that's something to consider. And when you only have one mode, make sure that those colors are the same on light mode and dark mode, so you don't have some odd UI happening inside of your application. So that's pretty much everything that we need to set up here for the base of this. And then you can set up, of course, all your native add-ons, biometric verification, and all that. One thing that I always suggest to let you enable is web app synchronization. This will allow you to enable deep linking and universal links / app links, meaning you can go on a URL of your web application and it will open that specific page on the mobile application if the user has installed the mobile application. That's a pretty neat feature. And then again, we have all those native add-ons, those native plugins that are part in the WeWeb plugin that you already have installed that you can access through those workflows, and it's super simple to set up. There you go. So let's close that here, and then you will do most of the native logic inside of WeWeb, so you don't have to leave the WeWeb editor for that. Now you can also set up some targets, the hybrid targets that are available on Android right now or share into app. You can add those if you want, but if you don't need them, just don't include them. Otherwise, you may get some errors with app review. So now this is pretty much everything that we need. We have it all connected and all set up. So we can now publish the application. Because we're trying to publish it to Google Android, we're going to click on Google Android here. And now we can either import an existing Keystore file, which is an option, or we can go and generate in one click a Keystore for our application. The nice thing is Despia lets you fully export the Keystore. That is your intellectual property. You will own it. So you do not have to worry about being able to migrate away from Despia. we will give you full export access to your Keystore so you can use it in Android Studio or in any other tool if you ever decide to move somewhere else. The Keystore is very important because whoever owns your Keystore owns your application. If you don't have your Keystore, you will never be able to update your application. So in Despia, you can generate it with one click without having to go into the command line and do it in Android Studio. It's fully no code, but you get full source code ownership. So you can click on export and it will let you download the Keystore anytime. So it's yours. You can get full access to it. We are not gatekeeping that from you. So now I have my Keystore generated in just one click. And now, I would never suggest never go on any website that claims they can build a Keystore for you, because they likely build it with an error. If it happens on some of those sketchy websites with advertisements all over the place, and then it could be that you sign your application on the Keystore and it breaks, you don't know when it expires, and then you can never update your application. So you either go through Android Studio in generating your Keystore, or you're using our one-click generate, which again gives you full source code export. So you don't have to worry about losing that Keystore. You will always be able to access it in the editor. It's yours, your IP. So now we need to connect it with a development team. I already have some. So if you already have an Android development team connected with your Despia account that you want to have this application published under, you can just select your team and skip the next steps that we're going to do. If you have not added a team yet, let me show you how you can connect it with a development team. So in here, we can add new developer account. We click on here, and then we scroll down. This opens an accordion. And in here, we need to upload our Google service JSON. So in this example, we're just going to go into Google Cloud Console. So you want to log in into Google Cloud Console under the same Google account that is related to your Google Play Console developer account for developing applications. And we're now going to go on IAM and admin. We're going to click on here, and now this will open a side panel. And in the side panel, we're going to go on service accounts. And now I'm going to either create this in an existing account. Now, in this example, I already have a few Google projects. Now, some of the times you don't have a new Google project and you can't go to this setting. So if you already have a Google project that you want to use for building this application, you would click on Create Service Account by just going on that account. Now, I also want to show you how you can set up a new Google Cloud project. You can simply go and, click on here, or it should say somewhere, generate new project. In this example, I'm clicking on here and I'm creating a new project. Now I'm going to call that WeWeb Despia, and I'm going to go on create. And now it's going to creating a new project. So now you will see I created the new project. I can select this project now. And now, as you can see, I'm logged in under the WeWeb Despia project. And now I can go to IAM and admin. And then I will do exactly what we did before. I'm just going to go on service accounts. And I'm going to now create a new service account up here. So I'm going to name the service account Despia WeWeb, just like this. And then I'm going to create and continue. And the role will be service account user, service account user. And then we're going to go on continue. And now I'm going to go on done. And now we have the service account created. There you go. That's how simple that is. Now we need to get the credentials for our service account. So we're going to go on actions on those three dots here on our service account. And we're going to go to manage keys. This will allow us to issue an API key for this Google service account. So let's click on add key, create new key, and we will select JSON. And now we're going to go on create. And now this will give us the WeWeb Despia service account key. There you go. And we are now going to, let's shut down Xcode here. And now we're just going to go and we're going to upload JSON in Despia under this Connect Google Service Account section. And we're just going to drag our service account file inside of this uploader. Oh, I didn't fully drag it in there. That's just how one looks, now you know. And now I'm just going to go on done. And now as you can see, the service account was uploaded. So now we need to create the relation, the integration between your Google Developer, your Google Cloud Console, and the Despia development automation system. So we're now going to go on link with Google. This will now create the integration. And now if you go on development team and you click on here, you will see WeWeb Despia. You can click on there, and now your application will be signed under this account. Now, this is mandatory. You need to make sure that the developer API is enabled. So in here, we have this button, Manage Integration. You need to click on here and enable. If you miss this, it will not work. You need to click on this button, Manage Integration. This will go to this page here, and you need to make sure that you're logged in on the correct Google account. And then make sure that this project is correct. It should be WeWeb Despia. And then you're going to enable the Google Play Android Developer API. So Despia has access into publishing the application to your account. Now, as you can see, it's enabled. To verify if it really is enabled, if you go to Manage Integration here again, it should now say API enabled. There you go. And that was successful. So now what we can do is we can now essentially create the store listing, and then we can build it. So now what we got to do is we got to go back to our service account here that we have generated. If you lost track on where we are, you can just go to IAM and admin, and then you go to service accounts, and then you will see your WeWeb service account inside of here for building and signing your application, so Despia can do it fully automatically. Now in this example, we are going to go to Google Play Console, and we are going to create a new app listing. So let's go into the Google Play Console. Let's go on Create App. I'm going to call this app My WeWeb Android. That is a very long name, but that'll do. We'll make this an app, and it will be free. And you can just adjust that settings based on what you're actually doing here. And I'm now going to create this application. And this will take always a little bit. But once we got that, we can then upload further information to get this integration all going. So now we have created this application, the store listing with the Google Play Console. And now we have this to-do list set up your application. If we go and view tasks, there's all this kind of stuff that we need to do. But one thing that we always have to do is set up a privacy policy, because if you don't have this set up, you won't be able to use Despia's automated publishing. It's just a rule that Android has. In this example, just for debugging purposes, I'm just going to put the Despia website inside of here. HTTPS, Despia.com. They're not verifying that yet. Of course, you want to change it to your actual privacy policy if you have one, or change it later to your actual one once you have that set up. But for now, you can put any website in there that's not example.com. Now, in this example here, we have that set up. So now we can grant access to our Google Service account to automatically deploy updates to this application that's in the Google Play Console. So if we go back to all apps, we can now go to users and permissions, and we're just going to go to manage users, and we're going to go on the three dots here next to managed users, and we're going to go to invite new users. And now we need to add an email in here. The email that we need to add is the Google Service account that we have created for this email. So we see here under Service account, there is this email. We're going to copy this email. We're going to paste this inside of here under email. No expiry date. Then I'm going to add an app. I'm going to add the app that I just created. Now, you would probably add all the apps that you want this account to manage, meaning if you add a new app, you will go to this account again and add more apps into it, right? You would apply and save all of that. And now you would do account permissions. I'm just doing admin. And be aware of scams. Google will never ask you I don't think we actually need to do admin. View app information, app access, draft access. I'm just going to do admin for this one. Let's go on invite user, send invite, and now we have invited our Google Service account for this application that we're building here and for all the other applications that we'll be building with Despia and WeWeb that we want to automatically deploy to the Google Play Store, and we have created that integration now. So that's all we got to do. Now we have that all integrated, and we now have the store listing. Now we need to get this all set up and connected. So what we can now do is we're just going to go back to Despia, and we have the integration set up here, right? That's all done. The API is enabled. We have uploaded our icon exactly 1024 by 1024 with extra safe area for the Android icon. And we have our splash screen GIF set up with transparent background. We could now do some other settings if we want. But now that's pretty much everything we need. We got the Keystore, right? And now we can just go on Publish Project. This will now build the application. And the new nice thing is with Despia, you can build one free demo app for free. So we'll be able to now to build this Android application 100% for free. We don't have to pay for that for the first build. And then if you want to go beyond that, you can upgrade to a license if you want to use this commercially, if you want to get this into the store, if you want to remove our watermark, if you want to get lifetime updates, right? You can close this here and you can always upgrade, and there are no monthly fees and no subscriptions. It's a simple one-time purchase that you can set up if you want to go beyond just having a test application. Now, if I go to Publish App, you will see it's now building the application on a Mac M2. So it's essentially going into a warehouse with lots of Apple computers, and there is a robot now going into Android Studio, loading all your files, loading your WeWeb project files from your WeWeb project, and it's setting up your whole native application, and then it will automatically build it, and then after you are through the initial setup, it will always automatically create a new internal release and publish it to the Google Play Store as a draft that then you can manually approve or reject. So it's a fully automated process. You don't have to deal with the command line, code signing, all that stuff. It's super simple and no code. So now while this is loading, this can take up to an hour. I'm just going to make a little cut and we'll see each other with the successful application that was successfully built. So now I got great news. The build was successful. And now we need to do the final step to connect and finish the integration with the Google Play Store. So Despia can always one-click distribute it directly to the Google Play Store without us having to manually go in there and download and upload files. So the first step towards that is by clicking on Download App. This will now download the AAB file, the Android app bundle. Let's put this on our desktop here. And we're now going to go to the Google Play Console, go on our app listing. We go to Test and Release. We're going to go on Testing, Internal Testing. And now we are going to create a new release. Now I'm going to upload my AAB file generated by Despia directly inside of here. So I can upload this to the Google Play Console. This will now take a little bit because it's now optimizing the file and then it's checking the file and scanning it. This can take up to 20 seconds. And then you'll be able to give it a release name. Let's call this manual upload as an example here. And then you could put some release notes in there and you can also have them in different languages, but we're just going to skip that. And all of that. But there you go. Now the release was uploaded. We can go on next. And it will give you some warnings like upload your privacy policy, put the security declarations on your application. You can skip that. It doesn't break anything. Let's go on Save and Publish. And now you can save and publish. Now here comes the best thing. You can go to testers and they already have a tester group. If you don't already have one, you can create an email list and invite all the Google accounts that will want to test this application. but in this example, I'm just going to enable my existing one. And I am now going to go inside of here, and I can now copy this link, just like this. And now I can open my Android device, and I can now go to Google. There you go. And I can now paste this inside of here. Let's paste that, and let's open this. There you go. And now I can go a little bit down here and accept the invite. And now I can go and download it on Google Play. So I will click on there, and I can now download my test application, so as all your invited testers, from the Google Play Store. It's that simple. So there you go. Now we have it downloaded. So I can now open this application, and we can now start testing it. There you go. Allow my WeWeb Android to send you notifications, allow. And now, as you can see, this is the licensing, the white label part, where it's not fully white labeled yet. If you want to have the Despia application fully white labeled, remove the watermark that we're adding, remove this message here, you can go into the Despia editor and upgrade your project. This will give you access to remove the watermark, so you get the fully white labeled. It will give you access to lifetime updates. You can export the entire source code, so you get full ownership of the native Swift, Kotlin, Java code that Despia generates, and you can then deploy it to the App Store and Google Play Store. In just one click, you get full commercial access. And there are no monthly fees or subscriptions. It's a one-time purchase that's very affordable and way cheaper than most of our other competitors. So there you go. We now have this set up. So we can go back to the Android application that I'm mirroring here. Let's go on OK. And now we got the application downloaded. So now if I go on click here, and click it a few times, we will actually see that we will be getting some push notifications because of, there you go, look at this. This is cool. This is our WeWeb push notification that we just got. If I click on there, it opens the application again, and I can click again with the native workflow, and we will see there will be a few more push notifications because we are scheduling them, and we're using, look at that, we got another push notification happening on our device. And this push notification is being triggered based on this button that we have fully configured in WeWeb with a native WeWeb workflow. So we're setting up all the native functionality for Android and for iOS. It's cross-platform directly inside of the WeWeb editor. So we don't have to leave WeWeb anymore to build truly native mobile applications with all kinds of native functionalities, everything that an application needs, a native application needs, and it's fully compliant with the store guidelines. So how cool is that? You now got it fully set up, and the best part about that is you got updates over the air, so you can do changes to your application and they will take effect immediately. So now one thing that we want to do is it now still says connect to Google Play, view integration, because now when we upload it manually the first time, it will require us to, when we build it in Despia, to upload the AAB manually like we did. We don't want to do it all the time. So we want to go and rebuild the Android application here. Because the bundle is already uploaded to Android, it is now linked with the bundle ID that is related to this application, that one here. And we can now, if we build it again, and it will be successful, we will see that this message disappears, and now all future builds, meaning also this one, will be sent directly to the Google Play Store as a draft. Now, the cool thing with Despia is you get updates over the air. So what does that mean? It means that I can do changes in WeWeb, like adding a button down here and, calling this button native, going into the button, creating a new workflow, doing execute component action, taking the Despia native component, and let's do some, how about we take a screenshot? That seems fine. Manual push request, run app reset. Yeah, let's just take a screenshot here. Let's deploy that. Let's publish this to the WeWeb subdomain or to your custom domain. And now over the air, we have updated the interface of the application and the true native functionalities that we're calling. So you can do this for in-app purchases, for all kinds of stuff, for all the native functionalities that we're giving you. Haptic feedback, which is hard to show in videos, but it's the best, it's the coolest one to feel though. But now if I share that inside of here, if I'm going to close my application here, right, and I'm going to open this one again, we will see the beautiful splash screen animation, okay? And now we will see the update, the interface changed. And now as you can see, it will say screenshot saved. So we're now actually taking a native screenshot. And we're sending native push notifications through functionality that we're adding directly in the WeWeb editor without having to leave WeWeb to add native functionalities. And we got a bunch of them, and there are more and more coming every month. This month, we're going to add about 10 new ones to that. So it's an ever-growing feature base that you have available. And then when you want to promote your release, let's say you want to publish it to the store, you can go to test and release inside of the Google Play console. You can go to testing, internal testing. And when you go in here, we have this internal testing. You could go to promote release, and then you can move it to production. If you click on here, this would now move it to production, which would essentially then let us go and click next to then publish it to the store, which in this example, we don't really want to do, but let me just show you how you would do that. And then it would say, you know, you got to finish your privacy policy, your app screenshots, all that kind of stuff. So what you want to do before you actually create a production release is go to the dashboard and follow the to-do list. There's so much that we need to do. We just need to follow it. But this is how you would promote it to then get it on the store. And if you have any questions on getting it into the store, or you need some help with that, please go to the Despia editor and click on customer support. We are here 24/7 to help you. And we most of the times reply in under 2 minutes. Where do you get customer support like that? We are happy to help you, and we are here day and night because we want to see your application make it to the Google Play Store and Apple App Store. So now the application is still building. It will take a few more minutes, and then we should see that the next build will be fully automated and fully automatically sent to the Google Play Store. So I'm going to make a little cut, and I'll show you how that will look to complete this integration with the Play Store and to set up those procedures if you ever need to do updates in the future. So now, as you can see, the build was successful, and this connect to Google Play has removed from the Despia editor, meaning now all future deployments will directly go to the Google Play Store. Now, where will they go? Let me show you where you can find them. If you go to test and release inside of the Google Play console, you can now go to testing. You can go to internal testing here. And now you will see there was a new version released as a draft. If you want to remove it from being a draft and make it a, fully accepted internal test release, you go to edit release, and you will go on next. And then you will just confirm, save and publish, save and publish. Now that is the latest release, and then you can, go to testers and then share that link, and they'll be able to download the latest version of your application. And then if you want to send that release to the store, you would promote the release and move it to production. Now, it already has a production release. So if we would want to remove what we currently have, we would remove the one that we created before. That sometimes happens where you play around. We would now go to production, and we would go to releases. We would go to edit this release, and we would either release it or discard this draft release. And if you would want to now release the version that Despia automatically just sent to the Google Play console, we would now promote the release and continue with the process into getting this into production. But I'm just going to discard that because we're just testing in this example here. And that is how simple you can set this up with Despia and Google Play. Again, if you have any questions, because I know you're probably new to this, go to the Despia editor, go on customer support, and we are here to help you. That's my promise to you. We'll get your application into the Google Play Store and we'll help you set up everything if you have any questions. Thank you so much for your trust and thank you so much for your time in watching this video. And I can't wait to see all the exciting applications and mobile applications, imagine that you're going to build with WeWeb and Despia. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.